Okay, so let's start with my favorite, iodine, because every cell in the body needs iodine. Just like every cell in your body needs T3, thyroid hormone, every cell needs iodine as well. And when we look at iodine's effect on the body, yes, it's imperative for T4 to T3 conversion. It's imperative for your thyroid gland to produce T4 and T3. It helps reduce size of nodules, helps reduce nodules, period, goiter, nodules on the thyroid. It helps with the symptoms of hypothyroidism. So hair loss and energy, fibrocystic breasts, constipation. I mean, iodine is there. It's a simple tool that we can add in to significantly help improve all aspects of the body, but specifically when we're talking about thyroid, yes, it's needed for thyroid hormone production and conversion. Then we go on to magnesium, selenium. Most of us are mag deficient. Just like Sara said, I mean, we're all deficient because our soil is. But a lot of people don't take magnesium, or they will take mag citrate. And I say, well, that's great, just like to poop, right? So that's going to help you poop every day, but it's not going to help with your muscle tension and tightness. It's not going to help with relaxation, anxiety, your sleep, your mental status, that T4 to T3 conversion. You need a variety of different magnesiums to really help support your thyroid. And we're all deficient in mag. So you could test it all day long. We could sit here and say, oh, yeah, go get an RBC mag test. But guess what? You're probably deficient if you're not taking it. Same thing with iodine. There's no real definitive test for it. And that's a huge question that I get. I'm sure you get it too. And I think I shared this before, but it's worth mentioning again. I was interviewing a gentleman who does hair tissue mineral analysis. And I asked him, I said, do you have iodine on here? And he's like, no, because we all need it. Every cell in your body needs it. Why don't you just take it? Well, there you go. I mean, here we are. And anytime I won't test iodine when someone starts taking it because I know what's going to happen. It's going to be high and then they're going to stop taking it. But if a person gets an iodine test from their practitioner or orders it themselves after they start taking iodine and they come back, it's going to be high. Once you start taking it, it's going to be high. Now, if you're not taking it at all and you want a baseline level, sure, go ahead and get a blood test for iodine and you'll probably see that it's low. But if you're taking it, don't even bother, just take it. So same thing with mag, just take it. Now, selenium, on the other hand, that's one I kind of have a beef with a lot of these thyroid blogs and forums out there because everybody pumps up selenium, and selenium is very important for the thyroid and for T4 to T3 conversion. But what do thyroid patients do when they read a blog? They overdo it. So you have everybody going out and taking 200 to 400 micrograms of selenium every single day. And now their selenium's high. Well, that's another pusher upper of reverse T3. You don't want it too high. You don't want it low, but you don't want it too high either. So you really kind of want to find that right blend of selenium. And then vitamin D, listen, it's your immune system. 95% of all hypothyroidism is Hashimoto's. We know that's autoimmune. It's the immune system gone awry. We want to support our immune system. So iodine, again, fantastic for anything viral, bacterial, fungal. I mean, pretty much anything. Add on vitamin D to boost your immune system. And now you have a really powerful combination to improve your immune system that is going to help reduce that attack on your thyroid.
With the iodine, I just want to emphasize too, is that now within this world of all of the halogens in our water and our food, the fluoride, the bromide, the chlorine. I mean, I don't know why people are still using fluoride toothpaste. I think that they hear it by now. But the fluoride in our water, the chlorine in our water, the radiation that we are getting exposed to. I've got my cell phone here and my computer and my, the 5G tower down the street. And there's no escape. There's no escape, unfortunately. I tried to fight the 5G towers, but yeah, they're still coming. So anyways, with all of that, there's something called halogen displacement, where if you have enough iodine, and you have to make sure it's the right kind of iodine, like the acceleradine iodine, because most other iodines are coming from the Asias, which are toxic sources because of Fukushima and Chernobyl. Last August, they started letting go of the Fukushima radioactive water into the oceans, and even China was talking about it, saying, "Ooh, "Ooh, we don't want your fish now." Now, that's when they started talking about it, let alone what were they doing before. So
Right.
you really have to know where are you getting your seafood or your seaweed from, right? People eat their seaweed for iodine. That could be radioactive if it's coming from Japan.
Mhm.
So, anyways, when you have the accelerating iodine in your body, saturating your whole body, not just your thyroid, but every little fingertip and toenail that you have, there's no room for these halogens and the radiation to take hold of the cells. So
Right.
go back to chemistry class. It's that displacement theory. And magnesium. I just had this talk with my daughter, who is works out 3 hours a day, and she's wondering why she's having muscle cramps. I'm like, sweetheart, are you still taking your magnesium? Well, she used to take it for constipation issues, and that issue is no longer here. So she
Mhm.
stopped taking it. And I go, well, that's not the only reason you take magnesium. It
Right.
helps with your mood. It helps with your sleep. It helps with your muscles and so many things. And like you're saying, there's multiple different types of magnesium, not
Mhm.
just one.
Not just
And that,
one. Exactly.
right? And that brings me to making sure you know where your supplements are coming from, right? What is going on in the supplement industry? And I know a lot of people out there think that we are kooks because we're pushing supplements instead of medication, because the supplement world has such a bad name because there's so much junk out there. 95% of supplements are filled with fillers. They don't even have what they say they have. And the whole pandemic, I'm sure, Amie, you've seen this, brought all of these companies replacing their ingredients with cheaper ingredients and getting them from sources that they were scrambling because of inflation and costs and packaging and all of this. And I even experienced with one of our products, we got the same ingredient from the same source that we
Mhm.
used to get, and it was full of mold and bacteria. But they said it passed the standards because they changed the standards. So you don't know what you're getting in a lot of these supplements. So can you speak to what's going on and how do you know what to trust?
Okay. Yeah, this is a big one. This is a big one. And ironically, I just talked about this on my podcast too. We can go back. I used to work in the supplement industry 20 some years ago. And I worked for a company that was owned by an individual. So he had his name behind it. Back in the day, it was MHP, and it was owned by Gerard Dente. And he was a former bodybuilder. So I knew that everything that he produced was of high quality because his name was behind it. I mean, he was at all the shows, he was there with his company. Same with Lee Labrada, owned Labrada Nutrition. Rich Gaspari owned Gaspari Nutrition. And the ones that I would always stay away from, even back in the day, were the bigger companies that would take out 5-page ads in Flex Magazine or Muscle and Fitness because I knew that they were pumping more money into advertising than into the quality of their product. And then I also started working with my mentor who produced his own supplement line. And the things that I learned throughout those years of working for MHP and then working for my mentor about supplement companies was eye opening. So here's the thing. If you think about a product, let's take vitamin C, right? You think about vitamin C, you go down to your local Walmart and you're looking at all the vitamin C's and you're like, oh, I'm going to buy this one that's only $9, or it's, buy one, get two free. What do you think is the quality of that particular product? So, as supplement company owners, Sara and I know that we have to purchase the actual bulk product. Then we have to purchase the bottles. We have to make the labels. We have to pay for distribution of that. All of that has a cost. And I guarantee you, all of that is more than $9. So a company that is selling something that cheap, or it could be $20 for a more complex product, if you're selling it that cheap, you are not getting the quality in the product. They are cutting corners somewhere, and it's most likely in the ingredients themselves. So what I learned back in the day was that what companies would do, the bulk manufacturers, if they had a big vat of vitamin C that was going to expired or was expired, they would sell that at bare bones cost. They were going to have to trash it anyways. Bare bones cost to the manufacturers of supplements that sell to Walmart, Costco, Walgreens, Rite Aid, because they know, and I don't want to offend anyone, but because they know that the majority of consumers that shop at those stores for supplements are not health savvy. They're not sitting back saying, is my vitamin D going up as I take this vitamin D? Am I seeing an improvement in my immune system, my skin as I take this vitamin C? They're not looking for that. They're buying a supplement and grabbing it off the shelves because they saw it on the internet or heard it on Dr. Oz. They're not paying attention. And the companies know that. So literally you will get expired or almost expired product if you even get the product itself. So in 2015, the Attorney General of New York did an investigation of GNC, Walmart, and Target. And they pulled random supplements from the shelves and they tested them. And there were a couple that were like, okay, 1 out of 3 was real. There were some that like 41% were not real. They found things like houseplants, a house plant, alfalfa, asparagus. They found every other type of filler that you can imagine, except for what was on the label itself. The actual active ingredient was not even in the product. So that's why I always argue, and I've argued this for 20 years with my clients, with my patients. If you go to a store and you're looking at 2 products, and one is, we'll just use base numbers, one is $10, one is $30. You buy the $10 one because you think you're saving 20 bucks. This is a great deal. Except it doesn't even have the ingredient in it. Did you just save 20 or did you waste 10? Spend the extra money on quality supplements. That is number 1 rule. And you don't have to break the bank, but even if you I would rather you take 3 or 4 good quality supplements than take 10 crappy garbage supplements that you're not even getting what's in them anyways. And again, in that analogy, you're wasting, 10 times 10, that's $100. You just wasted $100 on 10 different crappy supplements that don't even have the active ingredient in it. So you really have to be consumer savvy and knowledgeable and listen to people like myself and Sara, because we're trying to guide you. We're not just trying to sell supplements to you. We are trying to guide you in choosing properly and choosing high quality that's going to benefit you and your health. And not, some of them can be detrimental to your health. You don't know what's in them. There was a time where some bodybuilding supplements contained drugs. They contained Viagra. They contained anabolic steroids. So yeah, that's going to do more harm than good. Worst case scenario, you're just taking some houseplant. You know, I mean, it's crazy what's out there when you really start to hear people like us talk about what goes on behind the scenes.
Well, and I want to emphasize what you just said. It's not just what you're not getting in it, it's what you might be getting that you didn't want. With the mold and the bacteria here, it was in a supplement that's supposed to boost your immune system, but I'm filling myself with bacteria and mold.
Right.
That's only going to backfire and block my sinuses and give me a headache. That would not be a good thing. And what's so crazy is it was coming from a legitimate source. So even with the bigger companies, you have to be careful. There was a probiotic company that I had a relationship with at one time, and it was bought by Clorox. You think I'm going to use a probiotic from now the company, the big company being Clorox? And there's just a very few big companies that now own most of these smaller companies, unfortunately. So it unfortunately is not that clear and that easy. And then you get to Amazon. I know that I was on Amazon for a very short period of time because my experience was horrible, but they don't have to sell your product within a certain time period. So you don't know how long that product that you buy from Amazon has been sitting on the shelves. Now, if you're buying some sunglasses or some toothpaste or some maybe hair gel, probably not a big deal. I order from Amazon, unfortunately, more than I want to admit, but I
Right.
don't I don't order my supplements from there, and there's a reason. And it's just what you're putting in your body is going to have positive or detrimental effects. It's kind of not a zero sum game, right? It might even affect your gut, and your gut's everything. Your gut affects your thyroid and your metabolism. So it's everything that is. You want to make sure that you are putting in your body what you think you are putting in and what it needs. So I wanted to make sure we touched on that. Now